Alright, everyone, welcome back to another Watch and Talk here on Automotive Anatomy. So yeah, I'm back. I'm back from Europe. Obviously, you guys got to see what I got to see on the vlogs. I didn't show everything for obvious reasons. I'm just I'll be honest with you guys. I guess I'll start that way. The reason why I decided to vlog the Europe trip, both on Instagram and both for YouTube, is for a reason that I like to, I guess, say that it comes out of pettiness. And what I mean, it's me. It's out of pettiness. What does that mean? What it means to me is that uh, I'm a very open-minded person. I like to have conversations with people from different backgrounds and different walks of lives and stages in life. But when somebody kind of continuously makes comments about how much money they make, the things they're buying for the cars, it's almost like they're trying to be one up all the time. And sadly, there is this, there are people like that, and so one specific individual, I've had a couple conversations with them, and a couple comments were made about the difference of money that me as an educator and maybe them as whatever make. And it's been more than once. It's been more than once where, yeah, it's okay, buddy, I know you don't make that much money, and it's bugging. It's and so obviously I don't have day-to-day conversations with individuals like that for obvious reasons. I'm still respectful about it, because they may have helped me in the past on the channel, and so I just continue to assist and help, and I don't really mind how I can help them. I know that I've been able to help them, but when those comments get thrown around, it comes off very snobbish, very disrespectful. And it's funny because I also thought about that myself when I make fun of places. Like I was hanging out with FM Spec, and afterwards I felt bad because I was making fun of San Bernardino and Inland Empire, but that's his home, and he was like, he made a comment about LA and IE is almost the same thing, and so I went on this rant about how they're not, and I was laughing. But down the road, I thought about it when I was driving home. I was like, you know what, like, it comes off as very disrespectful from my end, to make comments like that. And so I'm definitely gonna be cutting back on comment, even though it's 100% joking. How they say there's always a truth in every joke, and so that's the reason why I wanted to show what I was up to, because I don't spend every dollar on cars. I know this is a car channel, I get it, but I just don't believe in that. I don't believe I should spend all my money on food, and I don't believe I should spend my money on clothes, and I just don't believe in spending all of your money on one little thing. I do want to have different experiences. I don't want to have that many material possessions, because at the end of the day, it's just taking up space. It's my buddy Ralph mentioned when I posted something on social media about the trip. He mentioned going on vacations or on trips is one of the things that you come back wealthier, and it's obviously what he's meaning to say, that yes, it takes financial, tangible money to go to a place, but you come back wealthier in the sense of the experience and the culture, and just the experience of being able to do that. And I thought that was very appropriate, because for me it was again petty, whatever you want to call it. It was important for me to show specific individuals. I don't have specific wheels, because I'm not just buying those. Like, that's not my goal in life, just to buy car parts and to look cool. And no, like, I fixed up my Jackie, as obviously you guys can see for the first time. She's back on 100%. I fixed her up because I love this car, and financially I was able to. But if somebody's out there who just crashed their car and they can't fix their car as fast as I did, please do not feel like you're doing something wrong, because you guys have to understand, I save a lot of money. I don't spend on clothes. I mean, the clothes that I have, those shoes, those blue shoes, the slip-ons, the only reason I bought them was because we were going on this trip, and my wife's like, you need shoes. I haven't bought shoes in over 2 years. Kid you guys not, 2 3 years. The last set of shoes my father-in-law gave them to me, um, they were used. I don't care about any of that. My shorts, again, I think I bought those at Ross like maybe 3 years ago, and obviously my shirts is all my the channels brand, or my buddy's clothing brands. I don't buy clothes. I don't care about that. I don't care about fancy dinners. Now, very big disclaimer: if you do, go for it. Like, if that's what brings you happiness and joy and fulfillment, then go for it. It's not, doesn't mean that you're wrong or that I'm right, right? And so, for my end, I wanted to show, my experience going overseas for the first time. It will not be the last time. I know that for a fact. I loved it too much that I'm going to go back. Our next trip that we're going to be planning is for Japan, and I already have ideas. And for that, I'm taking it more of a automotive slash. I already told my wife, this big trip for you was, have fun, whatever, go to the cities that you wanted. And the one for Japan is going to be a lot automotive. So I'm going to plan automotive stuff. So just be ready for that. And if you don't want to go, then, we're going to figure it out. But, I would definitely want to go to a junkyard in Japan and see how that is. And so we'll take you around with me. That's going to be more of an experience of automotive slash, I don't know, I don't want to call it a business expense or a business, job, but it'll be more of an experience for us, you and I, especially if we're not from Japan, to see what they got going on. I definitely want to go hit up, some of the tracks, junkyards, meets, things like that. It's Japan, so it's the motherland, of things to do. And so that's the next trip that we have planned. Far trip. I'm sure we're going to take little trips here and there. But, that's the reason I wanted to just show a few. And I even posted on Instagram, I said, the main reason why I'm posting this is because there are people out there who want to belittle everybody because whether they make a lot of money or not, I think that's irrelevant. I think the way they choose to go about it. And it's very unfortunate. And I, like I said, it did get me upset. It's been multiple times, and I'm just like, why do people feel? And I know their ego's super fragile, for them to want to, tear everybody down and make a point of how much, their wheels or their car costs. And it's like, why do people have, I guess, feel that necessity to want to show off every little thing that they do or they don't do? And again, that's the reason it's funny, because my buddy Peter was like, hey, you're finally going on a trip, and I didn't, I told him I don't mean to be a DI, but I'm finally showing that I'm on a trip. I go on little trips all the time. I just don't show it, and if people find out where I'm at, it's because my wife tags me. But other than that, I don't. I can perfectly go to a place and not take a single picture for social media. I can take pictures for me, but I don't need to show it. Some of the car parts that I get from you guys, like last time, the wing, right? It was sitting on the garage for like 3 to 6 months, and somebody was like, you should probably open it before that in case it's not the right part. But I'm just that type of person. I'll buy something, I'll hold it. Sometimes I won't even open it myself, and it just hangs out, and then I save money, and then I go ahead and buy something else. So definitely want to make sure that you guys understand that by no means do I feel like money is not an issue with me, or want to give that impression that if I hit the car, if I crash the car again, that I can go fix in 2 seconds. No, it just happened that I had money saved, and Francisco was very kind, and honestly, he prices things for me very, very nice, that it allows me to do it. Otherwise, if I was to take it to a regular shop, there's no way. One, it wouldn't have come out as nice. I know that for a fact. I don't even know if they would have taken the job, put it that way, period. Two, if they would have, it wouldn't have come out as nice. I know that for a fact. And three, the budget would have been different, right? And so I would have got it done, but I would have spent probably triple what I spent, and getting less quality work. I am very well aware that if I, I hope not, but if something was to happen to this car and it gets crashed, if it's still drivable, it would probably sit. Just because I don't want to spend money on it for to rebuild it again. Do I have the money? Yes. Do I want to spend it on that? No. Obviously, you guys know I have other goals in life, and so I just want to make sure that you guys here in the Washington Talk have that very clear that no, I'm not made of money. I don't make a huge tons of money, but I do save it, and I like to manage it properly. And by no means ever am I gonna look at somebody who works at a fast food or makes less money and say, "Oh, it's okay, buddy. I know you don't make that much money." To me, it comes up as very, egotistical and just disrespectful. And so that's the reason I wanted to really show, some aspects of my life, so people can see that. Look, that trip was not cheap by any chance, by any means, and we flew business for the very first time. I don't know how I'm gonna go back to economy because it was amazing. Tell you a funny story. The first time we flew over from LAX to London, the lady comes. We're barely boarding, by the way, so we're priority or whatever they call it. And so we go in first. We're at the number one seat, and then the lady comes around. She's like, champagne or juice, and I'm like, I just said champagne, but in the back of my head was like, are you gonna charge me extra, you know? And so when I got champagne, then the other gentleman came by and dropped me off this little wet towel. I didn't know what it was for, so I just left it there. So when he comes back around to pick it up, he noticed that I hadn't touched it. And then I look around, and then people had cleaned their hands with it. So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was for that." He's like, "That's fine." So he came back around. But that's again, I've never flown business class. I don't claim to do that all the time. I don't care for what people think. To some extent, it gets to the point where like, after somebody makes certain comments, it's like, dude, like, what is it with you? Why is your ego so fragile that you want to put other people down? So I won't go into prices on how much the trip was. It was booked through Costco, but it was a pretty penny. Definitely could have bought a new car with it, type of thing. But I wouldn't take it back. I love, being in those cities and experiencing that. And it, like Ralph said, it's one of those experiences where you come back even wealthier. And I definitely did. And I'm definitely looking forward to moving forward with that. And so I definitely wanted to, as you guys can hear me in my voice, I wanted to really just get that message across. I I feel that whoever you are, you listening to right now, whether you're driving, whether you're in the living room, whether your restroom, doesn't matter where you're at, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your stage in life. If you're a father, mother, if you and your partner or you and your whoever are trying to build or reach a goal that is non-car related, and that means that you can't spend money on cars, that's okay. Like, don't let these stupid algorithms from social media make you believe that you're doing something wrong because you're not buying certain things. I find it amusing that everybody on social media keeps showing their highlights of their lives. I'll give you guys an example. I'm not that type of person to show everything that I do or don't do or buy or don't buy. I have a lot of parts for the Accords that nobody knows, on Instagram and here I haven't shown it, and I'll show it when I show it. I'll make a video when I make a video or whatever. And there's some cool parts, but you guys don't need to know that. I don't need to, and again, my personality is different than somebody else. If you are of that personality that you like to show everything that you buy, I mean, I've seen people that they show when they purchase the item, they show when the item got there, then they have to wait to put tires on the item, and they put, I mean, all these are pictures that, every constant thing, and, they put it on the car. I've never understood putting a wheel without a tire on the car. To me, it just seems like, for what? Like, put the freaking tire and then put the tire and the wheel in the car. But people love doing that, and that's okay. It's just not my style. I think to me, on a personal level, where it's not okay is when you now try to make other people feel bad because they are not spending as much money as you are on a car or on certain things. So, yeah, like, as you guys can tell, I was very triggered. And it hasn't been once, it's been a couple times. There is a friend of mine that I really, really look up to a lot. I am trying to mimic him. I try to learn from him. I learn a lot from him, and he's doing very well for himself. He's a huge car enthusiast, amazing person, and I love his personality. And one of the things that I admire about him is that he has a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool stuff. Not once have I felt that he's belittled me or make comments like, "Oh, it's okay, buddy, you don't make that much money," and that's what I appreciate about him. Just to give you guys a little story, I was walking through one of his warehouses one time, and then in this corner, there's like a whole bunch of dust and just random stuff, like random stuff. I see a pair of Mugen NR10s, and I stop, and I'm like, wait. I'm like, hold up, are those Mugen NR10s? And he goes, yeah. And I told him, like, dude, you know how many people take pictures of these damn wheels every Monday? Monday Mugen. And he's like, yeah, I know. And that's like, that was to me, that's the pinnacle. Every single time I think about him, I'm like, damn, he's so humble, yet, um, he definitely works very hard, so he deserves whatever he has, plus more, because he's an amazing person. But I love the fact that nobody knows this. I love the fact that he he is the most humble person, the quietest person in a group. And so that's, obviously it doesn't seem like it because I'm always talking, but I'm definitely trying to practice that. I'm trying to be more humble. I'm trying to be, you know, um, a little bit more quiet and just listen and learn. And so whatever I purchase, it stays with me. I don't have to show it right away. Um, and so those are the people that I really want to, continue to build relationships and hang out with, because again, they inspire you without even having to say anything, as opposed to other people. They make you feel bad, and whether they're doing it on purpose or not, it still makes you feel bad, right? It still makes you, that's kind of the problem that I personally have with, um, let's go with YouTubers, right? Automotive YouTubers. I love watching YouTube channels that are small, where people are building little things. Like, honestly, I watch a lot of YouTube channels that are tiny, where the person is just building their cars in their garage. They're recording with their phone. They're excited about something small, like, hey, I just bought new camber kit arms, so I'm gonna put them on. Little things like that, because I can relate to that. Once the channel gets really big, where it almost, it loses its touch, because now they're buying very expensive parts. Like, for a while the GR86 was like, oh my gosh, a hot commodity. Right now, everybody and their mother, from what I've seen on social media, sold their old cars, sold their last Type R. I I'm not looking forward to all the YouTubers waiting for the Civic Type R. Oh, the first back Type R, the first, upgraded turbo Type R. Oh, and they're gonna go the same route. They're gonna put spoon wheels, spoon brakes, and call it a badass build, and people are gonna tune in, and then 6 months, a year later, they're like, oh, I got rid of it because now they're moving on to another car. And so to me, that loses its touch. And obviously to the algorithm and to people, they love that. They love just seeing, what somebody can do as fast as they can. They'll put a wide body, and they love that, and that's fine. But to me, it's more of a, let me connect with everyday people like you and I. When we interview cars, we've had a plethora of beautiful builds. Some, obviously money has been spent left and right. Others are still kind of building it. I love both. I don't just sit here and think, oh, you have rep wheels. Nah, bro, I'm not gonna feature you, because it's gonna have a negative image on my channel. If anybody ever has a problem with rep wheels or rep something, then I'm sorry, like, this is not the channel for you, because I don't have a problem with them. And it's funny, I'll share another story. There was a gentleman that I interviewed a long time ago, many years back. He was one of the early ones. And I told him, like, man, your car's so clean, man, I hadn't seen it in a while. He was like, yeah, like, I almost got interviewed by a feature by this magazine, and I was excited. He was like, dude, they hit me up. I was super excited. And then they hit me up like months later. Like, they're like, yeah, our waiting list is long, whatever. So 2-3 months passed by, and he gets an email. He's like, hey, just want to make sure that you send us updated pictures from, so and so, and if you can, like, show that is from this date. Like, they want, like, I don't know if some of you guys were on forums where you would put a little piece of paper on the side and put the date, so that way they knew that was the most updated picture, or they would put their forum's name so that way you knew it wasn't like a fake picture or whatever. So he did. He took pictures of the car. He's like, I was super excited. I even watched the car, and I sent that over to them. And one of the guys was like, hey, can you do a close up on those wheels? And can you provide us with the name of the wheels? And so I think they were Whistler wheels or something like that. They weren't, there were some type of knockoff or not so desired wheel. And they told them, hey, unfortunately, due to your wheels being replicas, we cannot feature you at the moment. Please get back to us once you get authentic wheels. And from that moment, he was like, I hated that magazine. I never purchased one more single item from that magazine. He's like, you know what? It hurt. And I was like, you know what? I understand. The fact is that the reason why people love that certain magazine was because they were showing authentic everything. And now, when it's your time and they don't want to, feature you because of the rep stuff, that becomes an issue to you, and I get it, but that's not their business model from their side. That's not the way they build it. And so from my end, I wanted to build, a channel that features everything. Everyday people, you and I, who we're working, we don't have unlimited amounts of money to just spend left and right, and so that's my goal. And if any of you guys ever feel like the channel's moving towards something that maybe it's not what you feel like it was, then please let me know. I haven't featured new cars like GTRs and things like that, honestly, not because there hasn't been an opportunity. There's been people that have hit me up like, hey, you want to do a new GTR or this? And I kind of tell them like I'm more of like old school. I think the newest cars that we've done is like a Type R, which was our buddy Mauricio, and his was super cool. He hit me up. He's like, hey bro, like let's do it. And I felt honored that he hit me up. So but I'm not actively looking for those brand new cars, because as you guys know, we love the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s stuff. But again, I don't want to discriminate. I don't want anybody feel bad like, oh, that fool doesn't, that guy doesn't, feature Hyundais or whatever. No, I'll go. If you have a Saturn and you have a cool Ford, or I'll do it. But obviously, my cup of tea is mostly Honda, or Japanese, I should say, not Honda, but Japanese, 70, 80, 90s, kind of stuff, gutted, boosted, whatever. You guys know what I mean. And I'm all for Nissan and all that good stuff. BMW, I love BMW. You guys should know that. So, but at least that's what I'm trying to kind of build. And so I hope that my personality never comes around on interviews. Like, I don't build anything, guys. I don't know how to freaking change a freaking tire. So for me to ever say something about a car that, oh, it's not done, or oh man, it's Yankee, or dude, I don't build anything. Like I'm so like humbled by the dedication by these builders, how they build things, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you're so smart, you're so good at working with your hands and being mechanically inclined. And so I think there's people out there like that, like the ones that I mentioned, the ones that are gonna say, oh, it's okay, buddy, you don't make that much money. Oh, it's okay, buddy, you don't, not all of us can be cool builders like that. And to me, it's disrespectful. It's like we all have different gifts, somebody can build an amazing car but have zero people skills. Other people have zero people skills and can't even build a car. And some people have amazing people skills and can build a car. I think that at the end of the day, we're all built for different stuff. And so we have to be, conscious of that. And so there's that was the main reason why I did show the Europe trip, not because I want to show off and say, oh, look everybody, I'm in Europe and you're not. Like, nah, like I don't know when I'm gonna go to Europe again. It's gonna take me a while to save that money. And the same thing with my Accord. No, it's not YouTube money that made this happen. Did it contribute? I'm sure it did. I budget everything, but it's me on my day-to-day job, saving money to be able to for an emergency. And in this case, the car was an emergency in my head, and so now she's back on the road. But like I said, if something was to happen to her again, but she's still repairable, she would sit, just because it'd be difficult to kind of dish out that amount of money back to back. Wow. As you guys can tell, I was definitely passionate about this wash and talk. it's difficult, man. Sometimes it's difficult to deal with certain people. I try to stay away from people like that. Um, and one thing that I kind of want to just leave you guys off with is that if people don't reach out to you or people don't seek you out, it means that at some point you made them feel a certain way that it's not welcoming. Um, I I have a very small, tiny group of friends. I know a lot of people, but friends, very small, and I'm on day-to-day communication with them, and those friendships I appreciate and I admire and I want to keep them, and so with those friendships I reevaluate what I say, how I made them feel, how I can help them. With acquaintances, most people, if there's something that they say that I'm like, man, that just came off wrong, um, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But if it continues, I'll block them on Instagram. I'll hide them. If I see that they're putting stuff that I'm just like, dude, like, they're constantly putting the news and this and that, like they're gonna trigger me on social media. I don't want to be triggered. I block them. I don't block them, but I just hide their stuff. I mute their profile per se. So everybody's watching. Someone's always watching, I would say. I would leave you guys with that. Thank you guys for the love and the support. And yeah, I'm back on it. I'm gonna start booking more people, and hopefully you guys start getting some cool interviews coming your way. And so thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys.